Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is like a partial update. It's not really like a full update. I don't feel like going through everything, but there was a couple of things that I did want to touch on while they were, present front and center in my mind. So first off, just for the record, because I think this will be good to look back on later. Currently going through a moderate financial setback, which is not good. But, been in worse scrapes, been through worse things than this. So it's like, it's all right. The lights are still on. So I'm not, crying just yet. But it is annoying. And I think that the lesson that has been banging on my door, which I feel like I had been attempting to address in my own life, but I guess not swiftly enough, was to always be preparing for bad times. Always being ready for winter, always being ready for the storm, essentially. Because it's always coming. There's always going to be a time when shit hits the fan, and it can be no fault of your own, but you still have to be prepared for it. And so, that's something that, as a younger man, I had a very hard time with. It was like, when the going's good, it's good, and when it's bad, it is what it is, and I have no control over that. But as I get older, I realize that, but you can get ready. You can make preparations for when the bad times come, so that they're not so shit. You know what I mean? And that takes a certain level of focus and foresight to be like, okay, I have excess during this time. It's been several months where I've lived in excess or been receiving whatever resource in excess. And so instead of increasing my consumption of those resources, just put it somewhere that it can stay, right? Now, maybe this can change when you have such a stockpile of acorns that it doesn't really matter when winter gets here. It's like, yeah, I'm fucking good. I can eat whatever I want. And I'll still be good to go when the worst happens. But until that's the case, it seems absolutely imperative to just stockpile as much as you can in as many areas as you can, like money, like food, like whatever, prepare for as many eventualities as you can, have as many contingencies as possible. That's not a new concept to me, but it is something that at times I have difficulty remembering. Sometimes I get a little carried away, and I'm infinitely better over the last few years alone. Ever since moving to Miami, I've learned a lot of lessons the hard way, and this is one that I've definitely grasped much more fully than before I moved. As soon as it's good, start putting it away. And, sometimes it's like, oh, maybe I'll just get a little bit more beer this month, or a little bit more of this, or maybe I'll get a piece of furniture, and it's like, okay, yes, over the last few months, we are doing better, but are we doing good enough to where we could survive for 2 months with nothing? Okay, no? Well, then maybe that piece of furniture is not such a good idea. Again, that lesson is banging on my door currently, but luckily I was more prepared than I've ever been in the past. Just the bar has been slow and things are expensive, and it is, problems with the car and problems here and just expenses that pop up out of nowhere. It happens. Luckily, I got a bunch of liquor still in here, so if need be, we still got something to munch on. But anywho, moving on. Something that has been a past lesson that I've learned, but has been resurfacing lately. I don't know why, but it's just popped back into my mind. Is, I've got plenty of baggage from my formative years, many sad stories of things that I don't like that happened. I've distanced myself from these headaches for a long time now, and am much better off for it. But sometimes the issues from the past rear their ugly head, and I have to confront them yet again. And I remember maybe about a year ago, this happened, and it was just some new information that had come out that blew my mind, and was genuinely upsetting. And I remember talking to one of my friends about it, and just being so laser focused on my problem on what was ailing me. And I told him this thing, and we were, in an Xbox Live party. So, we're not face to face or anything, basically a phone call. And I may have been a little dramatic. I pretty much was just telling it how it is, but I was also acknowledging that, like, this is shit, dude. Fuck. What the fuck is this? And just on the other end, I just hear, mm-hmm. And immediately it just shut down all emotion that I had connected to what was going on. And it really made me think for like the next several weeks, and now all the way up until this point. Because at the time, this friend of mine was, for the past like 2 years, right? Maybe less, I don't know. I'm not super in tune with his personal life. But he had been going through a lot privately, things that I've only heard glimpses of because he's not a very Sherry Carey kind of guy. But even then, like I've heard enough to where my problems are so small, like or this particular problem in comparison is so little, and yet I have the audacity and the nerve to be complaining so emotionally about it. And it really just suddenly put my whole life in perspective. That, yeah, I got shit, but who gives a fuck? This guy doesn't give a fuck, and it's not like, oh no, boo-hoo, this person doesn't care about me. That's not at all what I'm saying. What I'm saying is everybody's got shit. We could sit and play who's got it worse all day long, but at the end of the day, just deal with your stuff. Just deal with your stuff, do what you will with it, and then put it away. We don't need to have this trauma front and center for what, the rest of our lives? How long? How long are we gonna cry about the same spilled milk before it's like, oh, okay, I'm good? How long, right? So just suddenly clicked for me that, like, who cares? Who cares? All of this stuff happened, yes. Did it suck? Yes. But I've already taken the action. I've already taken the action of taking every problematic or tumor in my life, every core cell of the disease has been removed from my life. So I don't really experience any of these things anymore. So everything that I do experience is just a memory of what has been. So it's like, why complain? What do I have to complain about currently? None of that stuff is happening now. So why should I keep breathing new life into it through memory? It makes no sense. And it just really just healed up everything for me. And I've always, since this happened, I've been curious, like, okay, did I actually just deal with this officially? Or am I just running away from it? Am I just not? Am I hiding it from myself so that I don't have to think about it? But I can still consciously and intentionally revisit all of the memories that at one time caused me pain, and I'm fine, I mean, sometimes I do use them, like if I'm in the gym and I've got to lift some heavy ass shit, it's nice to dig around in there a little bit and find some fuel, but only for that, maybe some motivation here and there, but it's not anything that, without my say-so, it is not giving me pain at all today. So I think we're in the clear. Now, there's always new stuff, I'm sure, that can happen. But as far as, like, the past, who gives a shit? Who actually gives a shit about it? Right? Let's move on. Let's let the chips fall where they may. Let's just look forward instead of backwards. Not to say that the past can't be useful, but if there is utility in your pain, then just spend the time to dig through and find every ounce of use that you can, and then get the fuck out of there. Just leave it behind. Whatever. What good does it do for you? How does this serve you? What is the benefit of ruining many moments for yourself in the present because of actions and circumstances that came from the past? Whatever. That's the point. And, it's been very enlightening. It's been very enlightening, actually. It's just to and I haven't even had this conversation with him, actually, which is funny. But I have been thinking about it very often since that day. And it really just wrapped up a nice, cute bow on all this bullshit that I had been carrying with me. And I got to just leave it behind. And now I just live much more present in the day that I am. And I can just move through time as I am. And if I choose to experience the past, I can experience it. And if I choose to look towards the future, I can do that as well. But just looking where I am currently has been nice. But yeah, that kind of wraps that point up. The last thing that I have to say today is something that, you know, continuously echoes in all of these masculinity chambers recently. You know, it's like a Goggins thing and like a Jocko and, you know, fucking all those guys, who I don't subscribe to. I have better things to do than listen to another man call me a pussy. But hey, if you're into that sort of thing, you know, whatever you want to do, man, it's your life. But I'm just not that guy. I can motivate myself without doing that. But there is some truth in their rhetoric that I have found, especially lately. And that is the fact of doing hard things, doing things that you don't want to do, but will, at least in your belief, take you from where you are to where you want to be. Example lately has been, you know, I would love to do anything else other than study the things that I've chosen to study, right? I'm just a lazy piece of shit, okay? It is what it is. So instead of letting those moments pass me by and just digging for excuses and distractions in my phone or what have you, taking the time, sitting my happy ass in my chair and doing the work, right? I would love to do anything else but sit in front of the computer and edit videos, even though this is what I'm banking my future on. So instead of, like I said, searching for a distraction, just doing the work. Now, I'm not going to say that I'm perfect at these things, but I've been slowly amping up the willpower and the determination to just do the thing. You know, it's like when I go in the sauna, I've now increased that to 20 minutes 3 days a week instead of 15 minutes 4 days a week. And it's hot. And it's hot, and 20 minutes is hard. And it's so much easier if I watch a 20-minute long video or several short videos during that time. It passes the time instantly, dude. It's gone. I'm out. But what I've been doing instead is just putting on some classical music, right? Some Tchaikovsky or Chopin or whomever may grace my ears, and then just sitting there. And usually I allow myself one glance at the clock, at the timer. Which I still do, but I feel better when I don't take it. When I just sit there and think. You know, I just listen and think, and that is what it is. You know, it's just like, you know, I get a massage every day after the gym. In a bed, right? It's like the bed does the massaging. I ain't paying for that shit. I guess technically I am. Whatever. And I do the same thing. I just listen to this music and think. And I just sit there for the 10 minutes that it takes. And then I go in there. And then I sit in the sauna for the 20 minutes and just be with my thoughts, which is hard. You know, it's so much easier to find the distraction to get through the pain of the heat, right? Or get through the discomfort of just being with my thoughts instead of being distracted by some noise. But it's so much more rewarding. Like the peace that I feel afterwards is beyond worth it. You know, when I'm working out, digging deeper and really pushing for those last couple reps, even though they hurt, right? Like pushing further than maybe is even necessary just to reach that pain threshold and show myself that it's okay. You're going to do this thing and it's going to hurt really bad. And then in 25 seconds, it'll be fine. And then you can go and do it again. You know, so I don't know. There's something in there. There's something in there about beating the demon that is pain and discomfort, which when you run from it so often, it can seem like this massive thing. But when you really just face it in as many moments as possible, it seems to shrink. It seems to shrink, and the anxiety just falls away, and the peace just flows in, and the negative emotion just seems to crumble because it doesn't matter anymore. It's like, what was I so worried about? I don't know. And I would also say that there's some state of being and cognitive benefits there too, but you know, I'd like to probably think through that a little bit more before just jumbling around. But it's been nice. It's been nice. And the moral of the story is, I guess, for this whole deal. Maybe the financial part doesn't really tie in here, but the last two, it's just don't be a pussy. Just fucking don't be a pussy, dude. How hard is it? How hard is it? Just go the extra distance. Just do the hard thing, right? And then when it's done, it's done. It's it. It's over. You're made it through. And then continue with your life. On to the next. You know, challenge yourself. Be more than what you are today, right? Try to find the best you that you can find. Yeah, whatever. We're getting a little bit wooey in here. We're getting a little bit carried away, but you get the point. Don't be a bitch. It's okay. We'll make it, right? That's what's been echoing in between my ears lately. It's just like, God damn, dude, wait, you're being a fucking pussy. What the hell's going on? But yeah, that's what I got. That's what I got. Just a little mindset update that I would like to capture before it mutates in any direction. If it does, I'm not saying that it has to. You know, it could just be that just keep this going. But I've found that I can be a changeable individual, and if I'm not consistent with the behaviors that give me the state of being that I am currently enjoying, it will be removed, will be taken away. It has been many times in the past. These things are not permanent. It is all transient. But, all right, that's it. That's all I got. Everybody, have a good day. Enjoy it. Make something happen. And don't be a pussy. That's it. Make out.